Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to share my thoughts with you on Cyberpunk 2077. It's not a review because I've only played a small fraction of the game really. I've put in about maybe 15 hours. I'm not sure exactly how long I've done, but put in some time and some cash. So I'm determined to get my money's worth. I've got it on the PlayStation Network for £50. And I am playing it on the PlayStation 4 Pro, PS4 Pro, and I've captured all this gameplay for you. I think the game looks really nice on the PS4 Pro. I've seen loads of different videos comparing, the regular PS4 and the Xbox One and the next gen consoles that we now have, like the PS5 and whatever the hell the Xbox One's called, I forget. And high-end PCs, that seems to be the way to play this really. But I mean, as you can see, I don't think this looks too bad. And I found, well, we'll talk about something else in a minute, but just wanted to show you here the mirrors. That really pisses me off, that you can't see your reflection. I know someone's going to say in the comments, oh, but in your apartment you can press a button and then your reflection comes up, so these must be the same. No, she's clearly looking in the mirror, putting a lipstick on, and there's no reflection. 10 years ago, or even longer, Hitman games have had perfect reflections in mirrors. And I'm sure countless other games have as well. For a game to come out in 2020 that's been in development for 7 years or whatever, to not have the reflections in the mirror is just embarrassing, really embarrassing. Now, I love this game so far, don't get me wrong. I gotta be honest with you though, there are things about it that are pissing me off, and this is one of the big things right here. I mean, look, I'm looking in disbelief at the mirror, looking back at her, she's putting her makeup on, she can't even see herself. What's going on? So that is pretty bad. And also another thing, I'm getting the cons out of the way early in the video, and then I'll talk about the stuff I like. Here I'm testing out for the first time whether or not you can shoot lights out in the street, be they street lights or whatever the case may be. And I don't know where the hell that bullet went. But yeah, it seems to be ricocheting and bouncing. Oh right, because I must have the gun with the ricocheting bullets, which is pretty cool. But you can't shoot out street lights, and again, for a game coming out in 2020 that's been in development for 7 years, that is really piss poor, really annoying. Tried to shoot out this one as well, tried a few different lights, just seeing what would happen. I mean, that is bad. And also trying the same thing but on the car tires. So there's a car here, give this a whirl, try to shoot out Mr. That's a nice car though. But yeah, it didn't work, and I've tried it again, and I've seen other people trying it on YouTube, and you can't shoot out tires or shoot out lights. Here is my character I created, which annoyingly I never get to see. I made her look like Catwoman, like I always do in games. But as you can see, she turned out great, and the graphics are incredible, even for PS4 Pro. Remember, man, I mean, that's how good it looks on PS4 Pro. Imagine how good it looks on like the PS5 and high-end PCs. I mean, look, the pores of the skin, the eyes. I really think I nailed the Selena Kyle look here. But first person only, apart from when you're on a motorcycle you can see yourself in third person. But I really would like later on, it's probably not going to happen, but I really would love a third person perspective patch, later on down the line. But by then I probably definitely would have moved on to different things. And it's kind of creepy the way you can make her look at you randomly. She's just like looking at us. But yeah, spent a lot of time, about 45 minutes creating her. And I knew that it was a first person game, but I did hear other people say, well, you do get to see a character sometimes. So I thought, okay, well, I'll put in the effort and make a good one. But you very rarely get to see her, and it's a shame. But graphics, now I want to talk about the kind of fuzzy kind of look of the game when you're walking around, which was always bugging me a little bit, but I did find a fix. Someone described it as if someone smeared Vaseline all over the screen. It's just got a weird kind of smudgy look to it. But I turned off in the settings the motion blur and the aperture. Those two things I turned off, and I found that everything just looked much better. I think this is footage here of when I turned it off, and I just find it a lot sharper. And I even found the frame rate was a little bit better at times. I don't know if that's even possible, but once I turned off those settings for visual stuff, I did find that just frame rate in general. I mean, if you get into a busy area, this isn't so busy around here, but there are busier places where you do notice, like when you turn your head, that was when the motion blur was really kind of getting on my nerves, and it was messing with the frame rate when I turned suddenly. But once I turned the motion blur off, it certainly has helped a lot. But it's a very seedy area that I'm in right now, and I haven't even scratched the surface. Last night was the night that really got me. I kind of laid off the story a bit because it was kind of going over my head at times. It's a good story, but I need to play more of it. I've not too sure if I've even finished the massive prologue section. I've heard some people say the prologue was 5 hours. I've heard other people say the prologue is 7 hours. I even heard one person say that the prologue, and this is in a big review, that it actually took them 10 hours to do the prologue. And I heard that once you finish it, you know, because the big title screen comes up saying Cyberpunk 2077, you think, oh my god, the title's only coming up now. I've been playing for all this time, but I have not seen that happen yet. So as far as I'm concerned, I might still be in the prologue. I don't know. So if someone, without spoiling too much in the comments, can let me know what specifically happens and you know that you've finished the prologue, go ahead and let me know. I was just enjoying looking around here, driving with, I forget her name now, is it Julie? Something like that. She's a pretty cool character, and yeah, man, I am enjoying exploring the map, and I haven't even been out into the Badlands, like the desert, yet. I haven't even seen that. I've seen footage of it, but I haven't actually ventured out there myself. Again, I'm not really sure if I've finished the prologue, so I don't know if I can actually go out there yet. But it's so daunting. Every time I boot this game up, there's just so much to do on the map, and like I said, the story is a little bit hard to follow for me personally. Man, I get it. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys who are still yet to play it, but I mean, it's not like the story is majorly complicated. It's just something about the way they're telling the story, or maybe it's my fault for I don't know. I have been sticking to the story missions mainly. I've done very little side mission stuff. I mean, last night I tried a few, just while I was exploring, I'd intervene in a few crimes that were happening and stuff. This was a cool section with a fair bit of action in a club that Johnny, is it Silverhand? Keanu Reeves' character, which there he is right there. It's cool when he pops up. He's not very likable in this game though, at all so far. I mean, maybe that will change, but he's a bit of a douche. Not in real life, obviously. Maybe that's why they did it, because everyone loves Keanu Reeves and he's such a cool guy. Let's make him a bit of a jerk in this. But the samurai or the katana sword, yeah, I'm rocking that at the moment. I was having trouble killing enemies. And again, with all the crafting and leveling up, it's quite complicated for me personally. My experience with these kind of RPG games is not that vast. I mean, I've played Oblivion, Skyrim, a couple of the Fallouts. Never really played too much of the Fallouts. I've owned a few of them, but I don't know. Something about the Fallout games never really grabs hold of me and keeps me playing for months and months on end. But Skyrim certainly played that a lot. But as far as the crafting and the leveling up, I always get it's a bit much for me. I do like my kind of open sandbox Rockstar games, I suppose. The RPG heads would roll their eyes at that because it's so simplistic compared to this. But I really just like, the main thing for me is a realistic world that you really get lost in, and just the atmosphere, and graphics, sound, it all comes together. But as far as, the technical RPG, leveling up systems and crafting, like Witcher 3, I tried to play that and heard so many good things about it, and I can tell that it's a fantastic game, but it had me by the balls. I didn't know what I was doing in Witcher 3. Like certain bosses, you had to craft stuff together to be able to beat them, from what I hear, but I was never very good at it. Anyway, let me move on to the HUD, which you can see here. I've limited it to just literally my health bar. I took away the mini-map, and I just found I was not really able to get too immersed in this world because of the HUD. It was just too much on the screen, so I got rid of it, and it hasn't hindered my ability to find missions. I just paused the game and I set a pointer on the map and I head to it, because you can still see where you're supposed to go. I even got rid of this crosshair that you can see, and haven't had any trouble without it. But I would definitely recommend folks maybe limiting the amount of stuff on your HUD, especially when you just want to kind of soak in the atmosphere here. Definitely has a strong Blade Runner vibe, especially when you look up. You'll notice in the footage I often look up when I'm walking. I just love it, seeing the cars flying around. And I didn't really know too much about this game. I didn't get caught up in the hype really, so I saw some footage of you heading to a point, and you were obviously flying in some kind of vehicle. So I thought that you would be able to fly in the cars in this game. I mean, I didn't 100% think it was the fact, but I had an inkling that you might be able to fly about like these cars are up there, or whatever they are, transport things. But from what I've played so far, no flying car action. But that's alright, I've always got GTA 5 online in my DeLorean to fly about if I want to, but it would have been sweet to be able to fly in this. Who knows, maybe you still can, maybe that's been kept, spoiler, they haven't ruined that for us just yet on the internet, but I doubt it. Now, combat is taking me a little while to get used to. The gunplay, now I remember saying this to Simon, my friend Simon, when I first got this. I wasn't enjoying it the first 2 days. There was just, I remember sending him a message saying, walking's not fun, shooting's not fun, driving's not fun. So far, none of the missions are much fun. But then I did a mission where I had to go and deal with someone who was pretty psychotic. I was actually supposed to be dealing with someone else in a business deal, but he was busy, so this complete crazy a-hole, I had to deal with him instead, and the deal goes wrong, and I got to shoot him. And that mission in particular kind of made me go, I really enjoyed that one. So gradually, and especially like I've said at the beginning, once I fixed the getting rid of the motion blur and the sorting out, the aperture is pretty cool, but I turned that off as well. Just it all seems to help me a little bit in my experience with the frame rate and just the smooth kind of nice sharp look at the game that it has now that I turned it off. But yeah, combat, I'm doing alright with this katana, but with the guns, yeah, I like shooting people, unless you're using a sniper rifle, which I haven't even laid a hand on yet. Probably in my inventory, there's so much in there I have to keep dumping stuff because I'm carrying too much weight to even run. Oh, took his head off back there and his arm. Look at that. And there's weird kind of goo. Some are bleeding red blood and some are bleeding kind of other stuff, and I guess they're the modified folk. Driving is not much fun. The cars, I mean, it handles okay. It's alright. It's serviceable, but I am actually favouring the motorcycles at the moment. And I do apologise, folks. I'm not a professional, talking about video games guy. There's a lot of this stuff, just really crude. I mean, it's the world that we're living in this game. We actually have some driving footage coming up in a minute, because that car that you can just see in front of me, I thought, oh, that looks nice. I wonder, can I get in it? And I could. And yeah, I'm enjoying riding around on the motorcycle at the moment. Not so much with the cars. I'm sure you can tweak it, the sensitivity, I guess, when you're driving. Maybe I just need to play around with that a little bit. But I think there's a lot of potential here. It's a very ambitious game. I know that the developers and all the people behind this game, they didn't set out to piss people off. Obviously there was a lot of delays and they've tried their best. Some random things happened. A motorcycle just fell. Did you see that? That was my bike. It just spawned out of nowhere and just landed. Yeah, so many weird bugs. I've had it crash on me about 8 times now, even after the big 17 gigabyte patch. But I'm not pissed off about that. It's an ambitious game. It's a big world. A lot can go wrong, especially in these RPG games with all the systems in place, man. I mean, it must be very difficult to get a game like this out the door day one problem free. So it's not bugging me. I'm still able to, even after my crashes, I just think, oh god, and I just sit there, and a couple of 2 minutes later I'm back in the world again playing. The saves, the auto saves, they're pretty decent, so I never really lose too much progress. Here you can see there's bugger all damage happening to that car as I'm hacking away at it with a katana, which again, very disappointing, man. So, yep, more filth, absolute filth on the walls, and look at that. So much to explore. I mean, oh, and there's kids in the game. I don't think that was one there, but I just remembered last night I saw my first child walking along the streets, and I thought, that's weird. Like, I've been playing it for, 3-4 days, and I've only seen one kid walking around. That's weird. I didn't even realise there were children in the game. I didn't test out whether or not you can, shoot them. But I didn't do that, actually. I just let them walk. Yeah. Go about your day, little fella. Driving, let's see, we talked about that. The map, let's talk about the mappage. So, like I said, I'm not sure if I finished the prologue yet because I've had no big, massive title screen come up to let me know that the prologue is finished. So, not too sure if I can actually venture out and explore the desert and other parts of the map. I have, traversed a fair portion of it. But it's very daunting. Like I've said earlier, and probably got sidetracked and started talking about other stuff. When you boot up this game, and when you pause the game and look at the map, and you think, okay, what am I going to do now? It's just a lot, man. There's a lot. So I was pounding away at the story missions, trying to finish the prologue, getting a bit lost. If you don't pay attention to every word that they're saying, you can get a little bit lost. And I found myself at the beginning of a mission suddenly thinking, hang on a minute, what am I doing? Why am I here? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I suppose you can just go into your journal and read, find out exactly. But the map is pretty big. I'm impressed with that. Atmosphere of the game, it's pretty decent as well. I mean, just the look and the soundtrack. People have been raving about the soundtrack, but the music that I'm actually playing over the top of this, that I got off YouTube, in the YouTube studio, copyright-free music, this track that I'm playing, that's better than anything in this game. Like, what you're hearing now should have been the soundtrack to, the main music for Cyberpunk. Would have been awesome. But it's got a good atmosphere. Got to talk about photo mode. That is incredible. Spider-Man Miles Morales, I think now probably has the best photo mode in a game. But this is pretty close, man. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff. You press the two sticks in and you go into photo mode, no matter where you are or what you're doing, and you can select like a whole heap of different poses, either idle poses or action poses. You can move your character around anywhere, sort of, left, right, forwards, backwards, while in photo mode, so you can reposition where you are and stuff, and just a ton of things, man. So really good. I love photo mode, and I think I was watching a video yesterday where they're saying game developers are starting to really take advantage of the talent that's out there for photo mode, especially with Spider-Man and stuff. Some of the pictures people take are incredible. I've taken some none too shabby pictures myself. Check the channel, type in Spider-Man photo mode. Just type in photo mode and Dean Knight 333 and you'll see all the Batman stuff, Spider-Man stuff, other games. I do like me some photo mode, that is for sure. So, and dodgy YouTubers, that's another note that I have here. Now, yeah, I don't want to talk about that too much, but there was some really clickbait bullshit going on as this game was about to launch. I was looking around desperately for some footage of this running on a PS4 Pro, because I knew that's how I was going to be experiencing it. And one guy in particular, don't know his name, but his thumbnail was him, the usual, making a stupid face and holding up, a photoshopped PS4 Pro Cyberpunk box with, and saying clearly on the thumbnail footage of the game running on PS4. And as soon as the video starts, he says, oh, there's no footage of it running on PS4, this is all PC. And I thought, you absolute clickbaiting whorebag. But anyway, there was a fair bit of that. I haven't watched the Angry Joe video yet. Not that he's reviewed it, but he's done like a first impressions, and it'll just wind me up. So I'll watch the review when that's done. But yeah, final thoughts, guys. This video has been an absolute random load of gibberish from me. How can I sum it up? I'm enjoying playing the game. It's riddled with bugs. There's a lot of problems, but there is so much potential here, and I know it will be sorted out in time with future patches. So those of you who are on the fence and haven't got the game yet, I mean, if you're not desperate to play it, then give it a few months. Let the patches happen. But I'm enjoying it. I'm able to sort of get past all the little glitches and problems at the moment, and I'm just enjoying my time in Night City. And I barely scratched the surface, folks. So maybe I'll bring you another video when I'm all done with it. Who knows? And I'll give you my final thoughts. But the cities are gorgeous. This whole kind of Blade Runner vibe, absolutely stunning. So take my advice if you're playing it on PS4 Pro as far as the turning off the motion blur and the aperture. I just found it helped a lot with smoothness, and just made the frame rate a little bit more tolerable. It's not perfect, obviously, you can see that, but it's certainly better than it was when I first started playing. So I've ran out of time, and we'll let the credits roll. So I have, I've got my little list here. Graphics, yep, we talked about that. Turning off the HUD, yes, we talked about that. Shooting out lights and tires, or the lack of, yes, we've talked about that. Combat, touched on it. Driving, touched on it. Map, touched on that. Atmosphere, rubbed myself up against that one. Photo mode, yes, we've talked about that. The prologue, and whether or not I have even finished it yet, still don't know. And dodgy YouTubers, yes, I've covered everything. Alright, that's me done. Drop a like on the video, folks, if you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments what you're thinking of your time so far with the game. And here's all the names of my Patreons. I don't usually talk over this part of the video, but see all these names going up? These are absolute legendary folks. They help me keep this channel going. Little as $1 a month. I'm doing the channel full time as well as another full-time gig. So it's definitely a bit of a challenge, but I enjoy it. That's why I've been doing it for about 12 plus years. But I hope you guys are enjoying the content, folks. And yeah, just good to hear your feedback on a video like this. So get in touch, let me know your thoughts.